The Rams have their new head coach. They introduced Sean McVay to the media Friday morning with Bill Plaschke and Gary Klein. I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Bill, kind of remarkable. He's the youngest coach ever in the NFL, 30 years old.
Wow, and he's got to be the most exhausting coach ever. I'm exhausted just listening to him. He's so full of energy, so full of passion. He'll remind you very much of John Gruden. And everybody says it's very much of a cliche, but it's true with his gestures, with the way he runs his hands.
The cadence of his voice.
The cadence of his voice. And so he's he's all of 30 years old. His parents sat in the second row of the press conference. He invited them here. So, yes, he's very much 30 years old, but he's very much a new energy and a new look on this team and very much what they need, I think.
Jared Goff was part of the hiring process. He met with McVay as he was going through the process, Gary. McVay, known to be a quarterback mentor to really develop those guys. Can he develop Goff?
Well, that's the big question, and going into this search, that was the paramount concern. They needed to find a coach that could develop Jared Goff. They've mortgaged their future for him, and they've got to get something out of him. So they saw what McVay did with Washington and Kirk Cousins. They're hoping he can do something similar with Goff, and Goff sounded genuinely excited about it. He's a guy who's usually low-key. He sounds very excited about working with a younger coach who can not only relate to him, but the rest of the team as well.
Goff used the word excited about 10 times in the span of 15 seconds.
He used the word new energy, new look. He used that a lot too, yeah.
Bill, this team went 4-12. Fans left the Coliseum, nowhere to be found at the end of the season. Does Sean McVay provide that excitement, that offense that maybe will bring fans back and say this is an exciting brand of football?
I guess we'll find out. Preseason will be pretty big next year. I think people will find out. But I think, yes, this is why, although the Rams say that wasn't the number one priority, they wanted a leader of men, they wanted the guy who coached the whole team. Bottom line is they want somebody to put points on the board to get butts in the seats. That's what they want. That's what this guy, that's all this guy does. That's all he doesn't do defense. He doesn't do special teams. He does quarterbacks. He's a quarterback whisperer. Get him in here, see what happens. So we'll find out, but that is their priority. That's what he has to do.
He will also be calling plays. Gary, it was a united front, Kevin Demoff, Sean McVay, and Les Snead sitting at the table on the stage. Going forward, how important is it for those three to really be on the same page?
Well, it's key. And, of course, the unknown in this equation really is the status of Les Snead, the general manager. When Jeff Fisher was fired, a lot of people assumed Les Snead was out the door too, but Les Snead was involved in this coach search. He was involved in identifying McVay, and that doesn't necessarily mean this is the end of his tenure. So if he does stay, regardless of the changes that the Rams may make, it's going to be very important for McVay to work closely with him in terms of personnel and getting the Rams, as you mentioned, 4-12.
Yeah.
They need to improve. And here come the San Diego Chargers. The Rams need to put a good product on the field.
I'm not even going to get into the Chargers with Bill Plaschke. No. Well, that's another video. That's another day. All right. Well, Les Snead did say it's going to be a collaborative effort. We'll see how well they do through the offseason, the draft, and, of course, free agency with Bill. What, Bill?
Can I say one more thing? Everybody says how young he is. Don't forget, NFL's a young guys league. I believe, Gary, there's only one player older than him on the team. So his youth, that's an overrated stat in this thing. That's not going to be a big factor.
If you say so.
I say so.
I'll keep an eye on it. All right, with Bill and Gary, I'm Lindsay for the LA Times.